Ryan's phone shattered the silence of the night. 3 in the morning. At first, he thought it was just a wrong number. But when he saw Joan's name lighting up the screen, his stomach dropped. She never called this late. Her voice, when he answered, was trembling and raw. "Ryan, a broken bar. I'm at the gas station off Highway 47. Lily left me here. Please see broken bar come." Ryan sat up straight in bed, heart pounding. "What do you mean she left you there? What happened?" There was a pause. He could hear the hum of fluorescent lights and maybe the soft sob of his wife. "She knows, Ryan. About the money. About everything. And she hates me for it." In that moment, Ryan knew nothing would ever be the same. For 30 years, Ryan and Joan had built what seemed like an ordinary middle-class life. He worked long shifts as a maintenance supervisor. Joan, who had once dreamed of painting, kept the home together and worked part-time at the library. Their daughter Lily had always been their pride, smart, stubborn, and full of fire. But in recent years, cracks had formed. Lily and her husband had struggled financially. Bills stacked higher than paychecks. She had came to her parents for help, more than once. And each time, Joan had offered sympathy but little else. Ryan had never understood why Joan was so rigid about money. He often told her, "We'll find a way to help her, Joe. She's our daughter." But Joan always shook her head, her lips pressed in a way that ended the conversation. What he didn't know, or what he discovered only tonight, was that Joan had been hiding a secret that made Lily's struggles feel like betrayal. When Ryan pulled into the gas station, he saw Joan sitting alone on the curb, her shoulders hunched against the flickering light. She looked small, fragile in a way that unsettled him. She lifted her head as he approached, and the guilt in her eyes was undeniable. "I never meant for her to find out this way," Joan whispered as he helped her into the truck. "Find out what, Joan?" His voice was sharper than he intended. She clutched her hands in her lap. "About the inheritance. My aunt passed 3 years ago. She left me everything, almost $1 million. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell anyone. I was a broken bar, ashamed." Ryan gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles blanched. "Ashamed? We've been scraping by. Lily's been drowning in debt. And you?" He couldn't finish the sentence. Tears welled in Joan's eyes. "I thought a broken bar. If I told you, if I told her, everyone would expect me to solve their problems. I wanted to keep something that was mine. For once in my life, something that wasn't swallowed by someone else's needs." The words hung heavy between them. The days that followed were filled with silence, then shouting, then more silence. Lily refused to answer her mother's calls. When Ryan tried to talk to his daughter, she only said, "She watched us struggle. She watched me beg. And she kept $1 million hidden away. Do you know how that feels, Dad? Like I was never worth helping." Ryan didn't know how to answer. He couldn't defend Joan, not yet. And he couldn't abandon his daughter either. But life has a way of forcing confrontations. 2 weeks later, they all found themselves at Ryan's insistence sitting in the living room, the air between them so tense it could snap. Lily's arms were crossed, her eyes sharp. Joan sat with her head bowed, as though bracing for judgment. Ryan broke the silence. "I don't care about the money. What I care about is this family. We're tearing ourselves apart because of secrets. Joan, you need to explain. And Lily, you need to listen." What unfolded was raw and painful. Joan admitted that her childhood had been shaped by poverty and control. Her father had dictated every cent, her mother had gone without, and Joan had promised herself she'd never again let money dictate her worth. When the inheritance came, she wanted it locked away untouched, pure. A safety net that no one could control but her. But in doing so, she had let fear turn into selfishness. She admitted it through sobs, her voice breaking as she reached for her daughter's hand. "I thought I was protecting myself. But I see now I was hurting you. I'm sorry, Lily. I'm so sorry." Lily's anger cracked, but it didn't vanish. Her voice was hoarse. "Do you know how many nights I cried, wondering if we'd lose the house? Wondering if I'd failed my kids? And all the time, you could have helped." Joan's tears flowed freely. "You didn't fail, Lily. I failed you. I let my fear speak louder than my love." The road back wasn't instant. Forgiveness never is. But that night was the start. Joan agreed to open the inheritance, not to erase Lily's struggles, but to rebuild trust. They decided together to set aside part of it for Lily's family, part for Ryan and Joan's retirement, and part to finally let Joan pursue her long-buried dream of painting. Ryan, who had been the quiet bridge between them, felt something in his chest loosen for the first time in weeks. His family wasn't healed yet, but they were facing the wounds instead of hiding them. Months later, at Lily's kitchen table, the three of them sat laughing over dinner. The scars were still there, but so was love. Joan had begun taking art classes, and Lily proudly displayed one of her mother's first paintings on the wall. Ryan looked around the table, humbled. Money had nearly destroyed them. Secrets had nearly ended them. But honesty, painful as it was, had brought them back. He realized then that the real inheritance wasn't money at all, it was the courage to face the truth, the humility to admit mistakes, and the love strong enough to keep reaching across the divide. The story leaves us with a reminder: secrets, no matter how well-intentioned, poison relationships. But honesty, even when it hurts, can free us. And family, though fragile, can be rebuilt when love is stronger than pride.